Alright, so we're back with another Halloween vlog. Feels like it's been a little bit since I got the last one out, but I'm sure it hasn't been that long, right? Well, I guess we're back with a Thanksgiving vlog. God damn it.
It has been a number of years since I began excavating the ruins of Cont'd with a group of my colleagues.
Talk to me.
Time to go to sleep.
So, yeah, I'm really behind on this. These last few months, honestly, have just been a whirlwind of craziness. We've been in active production for Executioner, our slasher film, and a lot of my time and effort have all gone into that, and videos that I intended to make have gotten delayed significantly. So we're gonna jump back like a whole month and go back to Spooky Empire at the end of October. Specifically, it was from the 27th to the 29th. We ended up going out there on the 28th. Actually, we were out there on the 27th in the area, but we were actually filming stuff for the movie, so we didn't actually go into the con itself. I think it's been put out publicly enough at this point that I could talk about some of the behind-the-scenes Executioner stuff. And we actually got to film with Jason Patrick from the Lost Boys, and he was able to make something work for us while he was in town for the con, which was amazing. He's an awesome dude, and it was so cool that he was able to actually work with us and fit us into his schedule. So the convention was held at the Hyatt Regency in Orlando. They have a big convention area space. Spooky Empire's used it many times. It's funny, this is the second con I've been to in that space this year. The time previous was for that Fanboy Expo. It looked so much more empty during that Fanboy Expo as opposed to Spooky Empire using every last inch of the space. This was Spooky Empire's 20th anniversary, so it was a big show for them, a very important show, and unfortunately, I don't feel like I really got to experience even a small sliver of what was there. Leading up to it, I had a long list of people I wanted autographs from, and honestly, as I spent a lot of time funding things into the film and stuff like that, my budget for the con got smaller and smaller as it went. And eventually I ended up only getting 2 autographs the entire time I was there. So we got in on Saturday. Really the plan was to mostly go around and kind of be street team for the movie, talk to people about it and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to knock out the autographs first so that I could kind of focus more on that afterwards and not be distracted by wanting to get other stuff. So the first autograph I got was Greg Nicotero. It's funny because his autograph is really like not super clear on this thing, and this was his second attempt doing it. My friend got an autograph right after me, and his came out clear as hell, so I should have just waited until he got the marker running better, I guess. But it's still pretty cool. I like that it's him puppeting Henrietta, one of my favorite Evil Dead effects. So that worked out pretty well. It's funny, years ago I was at a Days of the Dead con in Atlanta, and like he was there, but not as a guest. He was just there attending it. I think he was meeting Clive Barker or something. But it's funny that it took like this long to actually get to meet him at a con. And while I'm very excited to get Nicotero's autograph, honestly, like if I wasn't able to get that, it wouldn't have been the worst thing. There's one autograph that I had to get at this con, one interaction I had to get at this con that I really cared about, and that was Adam Green. As I've talked about in a lot of these other con videos, I am putting together that Holliston poster, and outside of Dee Snider, I really have not gotten anybody who was a regular cast member on the show to sign it, so Adam being the creator of it, one of the main characters, 100% had to get him to sign that poster. But of course, I couldn't do something just that simple, right? Several years back, I had made my friend Colin a replica of the, we'll call it the Uncle Mikey mask from Holliston. It's essentially a S&M version of the Michael Myers mask that Adam Green's character is made to wear by Danielle Harris, playing herself. So I think he was going to bring the mask, but I essentially kind of pushed him into doing a full-on cosplay of Adam's character in that scene. So we were kind of waiting around because Adam was away from his booth at the time. We were just kind of like chilling in the area, waiting to see when he got back. And then once he did and kind of settled into the table, Colin walks up wearing the mask and everything, and in semi-quoting the line from the show, was like, is this too weird? Adam immediately went and took a photo with Colin, and I don't think he'd even like noticed the stuff that I had at the time. So I snuck into the background of the photo this, which is a replica of Axel the cat from the show Holliston. This is like a white toy cat that I spray painted, or actually airbrushed, to match the markings of the cat in the show, which is exactly how they made the cat in the show. They don't make a cat that looks like this, or the toy or whatever. So they had to spray it to look like the cat they wanted. And I tried to replicate that the best I could. So I kind of photobombed him with Axel in the background there. And after that, I believe he noticed that I had the cat and started talking about that as well. I'm trying to remember the order of things now. This is the problem with doing it a month later. I know at some point I did get an 8x10 from him. Had to get one with odorous on it. It's funny because I love other Adam Green properties. You know, I love the Hatchet movies. I really love Digging Up the Marrow. Frozen was a pretty solid film as well. But Holliston just meant so much to me that I kind of immediately was like, yeah, I gotta have this kind of stuff from him. Then of course I broke out the poster.
Been doing this since 2017, trying to get as many people from the cast or guest stars or whatever to sign.
Did you get David Naughton yet?
Yep, he's done a couple years ago. Sid, Dee, Brian.
I gotta say iPossessed. Wait, I'll wait till after I sign.
If you want to put a quote, I was trying to give a good quote.
And he did sign it right down here. I was trying to think forever of what quote I wanted on here, and I could not come up with a good quote. I realized a lot of Adam's lines that I like in the show are reactions to other characters' lines, so it was harder to like come up with something that was just him. But I let him kind of pick, and he went with, this poster is worse than the Halloween when I throw up in my mask. So finally got to add him onto the poster, which is amazing. I believe Colin had him sign the original booklet for Digging Up the Marrow, which is a bit of a rarer find as well. Then, of course, I did have to show him my Victor Crowley tattoo and my Holliston tattoo that I have. I know at some point he was like, you guys got all this stuff? Like, what? Like, he was taking pictures of everything we brought, and then he's like, okay, what else do I need my phone for? Like, take off your shirts. Do you have anything under there I need to see? Which is kind of awkward and funny.
I feel like this is just a big photography session with you guys. It's my own handwriting. I'm a director. I know it's my shadow. Hiding it. Anything else I need to take pictures of? Lift up your shirts.
Whoa! Too weird.
But that was so cool. I was just loving that interaction. You know, that was one that I was really excited for. But anytime I'm really excited to meet somebody at a con, like, I always hope it's going to be a good experience. But I also have that little bit of dread, and Warwick Davis definitely solidified that little bit of dread that I'm going to get some reaction that's not as good as I wanted. You know, something more negative. So I was just thrilled that that went the way it did and was such a great experience. After that, we kind of went through the con, mostly kind of going through the vendor area. We handed out some flyers and stuff. And then a little bit after that, Rob and I got into costumes. He did his part 2 Freddy Krueger. They did Spookala early in the month. And then I did my Babyface Hills Run Red costume. And we still kind of in costume, especially he was better at it than I was because he could talk more as Freddy. You know, still kind of handed out some flyers and stuff and talk to people. Funny part is, later in that costume, I walked by Adam's booth, and he's like, wait, I gotta take a picture with you. My friend created that character. So I don't think he knew it was me. Like, I mean, I don't think you give a crap, but it was just kind of funny that, like, you know, he actually, like, ran up to get a photo. That was neat. And thankfully I had the presence of mind to ask somebody to take a photo of me with him like that as well. So yeah, we basically just spent the rest of the day walking around in costume doing that. You know, talked to some friends as well, got to hang out, but it was, like I said, a whirlwind of a con, and I really don't feel like I experienced even a tiny portion of what the con had to offer. I didn't realize until I got home and was like flipping through pictures. I'm like, I didn't even remember there was a tattoo area. I didn't see it. I never laid eyes on the tattooing section of the con. It was that much of a whirlwind blur. So to set the scene at this point, we had gone out to Orlando. I had driven down from Jacksonville to Daytona, and then we went from Daytona to Orlando to film the scene on Friday night for the movie. Rob and I had then gone back to Daytona because we had to return the trailer that the car was on, and then drove out to Spooky Empire the following morning. We stayed that night in Orlando at a hotel, and then the next day went out to Tampa because back at Spookala we had met the filmmakers behind the movie iPossessed, which is another independent horror film shot in Florida, and they had given us tickets to a screening they were doing out in Tampa, and it worked out well enough that, we were halfway there, at least being in Orlando. So we went to that screening. Really cool people behind that movie and really enjoyable film. I actually got to see it last night for the second time, and it was even more fun seeing it the second time because I caught a lot of things that I didn't on my initial watching of it. And hopefully, I think they're trying to get it distributed now, so hopefully that'll be out for everybody to see in the near future. But that was a lot of fun, and then stayed out in Tampa that night, and then I had one more thing to do, and of course I had to add one more thing to this weekend, but to talk about that one, I'm going to need a different backdrop. Welcome once again to the Bloody Pit, my friends. So yeah, Monday, Gwar was in Orlando, so of course, gotta go see a Gwar show. But I was thinking, since I had Adam Green sign the poster, there are 2 other members of Gwar at the moment that were on the show Holliston. So why not do the meet and greet, or the meet and beat as they call it, and get them to sign the poster. So I signed up for that. I got my official t-shirt, which I don't have on me at the moment, but it's a Gwar shirt for sure. I think there were like 4 or 5 other people who were doing this, so met up at the venue way early in the day. It was like 2 o'clock or something stupid like that, way before doors opened and everything. So when we got to the door, they gave us our stuff that came along with the package. So I don't know if that's even going to show on camera, but it's a drawstring bag with the Gwar logo on it. Inside of that, I did have a photo of the band that was already pre-signed, so I've already added that up to the wall, of course. And then we also got the official lanyard. So after that, they let us into the venue where we got to meet the band. They were all out of costume, obviously, because it was hours before the show. And it's funny, like, I've met a lot of people at cons. I've gotten to hang out with some horror celebrities outside of cons even recently. And usually I'm fine. I get a little starstruck sometimes, but not overly so. But I was not anticipating how, like, just brain dead I would go when I got to meet Gwar. It's been one of my favorite bands for a long time, and yeah, it just, my brain just short-circuited actually getting to meet them. They were all incredibly nice. I think the first up I was talking to Mike Bishop. I did show him a photograph of my setup here. I was like, yeah, I'm the idiot who bought your old armor. I did have them all sign the lanyard as well. Some of them started coming off during the show because we had to have it, I think, for the photo op, or we were told to bring it back with us kind of thing. So I think Sawborg's name kind of started getting wiped away there, but overall it's pretty decent. I have the autographs of most of them anyway. It's funny, I talked to Brett and he was like, I was like, oh, how's the tour going? And he's like, yeah, it's good, it's almost over. And I'm just like, oh, cool, so back to plumbing afterwards, just because I know he's a plumber in between doing Gwar stuff. And his reaction kind of like, yeah. I'm like, shit, should I not have said that? Is that like, did he think I was making fun of him or something? And then only to find out that he already knew he was leaving the band, like, right after that tour. So I guess that makes a little more sense of why he had that reaction. Mike Dirks and Brad Roberts were coming up after that, and they were the 2 that I needed to sign the poster. So they did sign in character, but a ball sack down there, and then Jizmac here. So they were in the last episode of season 1 of Holliston. There's basically a scene where Adam walks into his closet, which is where Odorous would always come out of, and he's transported, I guess, into the Gwar realm, where he's basically on stage at a Gwar show. Obviously, Ballsack and Jizmac have been in the band for years and years and years now. It's been the same person in the costume and everything. I'm trying to think if anybody else has even played those characters. I think they were different characters before they took over. But, like, I was trying to make sure, I was like, which Beefcake was in the band at the time, and right now Casey Orr is Beefcake, but I believe at the time of filming, he had recently left, and Jameson Land was in the band at the time. So he came over to sign the poster. I'm like, I don't think you were there when this was filmed. I know you're just going to sign your character name, but like, I kind of want it to be the person who was actually there, not just who's playing the character now. Felt like a jerk, and kind of, he was like, well, fine. I'm just like, I'm sorry. I don't know. It was awkward as hell. And it was awkward, honestly. Like, you know, Mike Bishop, I was like, you can't sign it either because you were nowhere near the band at that time. Obviously, Pustulus wasn't. It was back, you know, when that was filmed. It was back when Flatus, you know, Corey Smoot was in the band still alive, and obviously Odorous was the front man. So yeah, it was weird. It's like 2 people out of the whole band I could get to sign it, and then 1 more person who's not currently in the band that I could get to sign it, and that would be the entire Gwar people that I could have that are still alive, basically. I kind of didn't realize how quick the whole meet and greet part was going to be. It wasn't like super quick, but I honestly like thought I had a little more time. So I only managed to get a photo with Dirks. Still cool as hell. Like, I'm glad I got that, but I would have liked to have gotten photos with the rest of them if I was thinking about it. After that, they did a sound check, so we were able to go and watch them sound check. We were not able to film that or anything. Would have been cool to be able to do that, but I get why. But that was neat, because we were basically up at the barrier. There was like 6 of us in the room, and the band out of costume doing 3 different songs. So they did Years Without Light, Crosstica, and King Queen. So that was really neat to see, you know. It was cool too, because like, obviously it's still them doing the music in costume, but I feel like it sounds a little different when they're out of costume. I forget if they had all the plastic sheeting up yet. I think they already did, but like, I don't know, it just seemed a little clearer when there wasn't 10 billion other things happening on stage at the time. So it was kind of cool to hear it more, I don't know, felt like it was higher quality audio. Also, significantly fewer people in the room, so I mean, that kind of contributes as well. So after that was over, they basically let us back outside. They let us go to the merch table to get early access to merch. But because it was late in the tour, there were not a lot of sizes left in a lot of the merch. And honestly, like I mentioned from the con, I didn't have a whole lot of money to throw around. So all I got was a sticker pack, or I think it was individual, but I bought them all, of the different logo stickers. So kind of representing different eras of the band. So 4 in total, but I figured that was at least something to grab. After that, we basically were led outside, and we had to wait just to go back in, you know, for the actual show itself. I had nothing better to do. I didn't really want to give up my parking space that I had already paid for, so I kind of just got in line and was one of the first people that was able to go in through the door, so I just sat and chilled outside for a few hours. The lineup for the show was really cool. I've seen Gwar a few times before when they've had bands that just felt perfect with them, and the opening act for this one was Cancer Christ. Never seen them before, never listened to them before this, but they put on a hell of a show. I think the guitarists were in the pit more than they were on the stage. They're spraying blood everywhere, throwing up shredded Bible pieces. I kind of wish there was gotten a little more blood on it, just as a little blood on the edge, but I don't know, that was kind of a weird thing to take home from a show.
With everything I do,
A really fun experience, and it's one of those things like I can't even vouch for what the music sounded like after being in that pit. It was just too much craziness, but I would go see them again live in a heartbeat because it was just a fun experience. After that, I got to see Ex-Cops, which is Gwar opening for Gwar, more or less. So, you know, Casey Orr, Mike Dirks are in there. Pete Lee, which is one of the former Flatus Maximuses. I don't know. He's in the band. A couple other people that are within the Gwar family up there. I think Roberts was in there. But that was a lot of fun. I'm not really familiar with Ex-Cops music either, but they are such an integral piece of Gwar lore, or, you know, Slave Pit Inc. lore, that it was really cool to get to see them live and experience that.
I don't know, hold up. What do you guys think? Should we let him live? Or should we fry the motherfucker? You bloodthirsty bastard. Your governor has taught you well, hasn't he?
Hey, what'd the governor say? I heard
Oh,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah, well,
Hey!
the governor called from your house, from your bedroom, from deep inside your wife, and he said that she said, fuck him. Zipper pig! Throw the switch!
Oh shit, we gotta play the rest of the song. Hey Tom, what?
I have an idea.
Good dope! Real good dope!
Drugs, good idea.
Yeah, good dope. Bring you back from the dead.
After them was Negative Approach, which they were fun. They just were a lot more just normal, hardcore punk band kind of thing. I think the guitar player had his back to the audience the entire set. So because I'd sat outside all day and waited, I was one of the first people in. I was at the barrier for the first 3 acts. But one of the last things included with the meet and beat was that I got to go get a photo with the band in costume. Unfortunately, that meant I lost my spot. I had to go step away from the barrier and go to the back of the venue to go into where the photo was happening. But that was really cool. It was a very fast thing. I don't even think everybody who was there for the normal thing were even at this part. A lot of them were MIA for some reason. Maybe they didn't want to go to their spot. I don't know. But they basically led us down like a side hallway into, I guess there's like a restaurant or something next door or part of the venue. It was beyond the main like stage area. But the band was all there. So basically like ran in there, stood next to them, gave my phone to the person running the meet and beat stuff, took a photo with them, and then ran back out. So when the set started, I was way in the back because there's just a mob of people up by the stage, and they started playing and everything. I was able to kind of get into the pit and use the pit to kind of maneuver myself further closer to the stage. Kind of forgot how intense and crushing Gwar pits are. So that was, that was a fun experience to have again. But I managed to kind of like get out of the main pit area into a more stable spot. So I wasn't nearly as close to the stage as I was previously, but I was up a lot further than I would have been and able to not be crushed the entire set. So that worked out pretty well in the end. After that, I went home.
You ever walk back to your car after a show and think, man, I hope somebody pissed on or near my truck, because if not, I smell really bad. Thankfully, getting inside, I think it was somebody pissed near my truck. Fucking nasty. That was insane. I was really worried going to do the photograph with the band in costume that I was going to not get blood on me. And obviously that is not the case. I am thoroughly soaked, considerably more red this time than I was last time. Last time this shirt was very blue. So this is my definitely preferred Gwar Aftermath color. And yeah, I think my teeth are stained. My contacts are probably stained, even though I can't see them very well. I know I got hit in the eyes multiple times. And yeah, it ended up being a very, very good experience. Stressful, crazy, but fucking awesome as always. And yeah, now if I just don't take a shower, I have a free Halloween costume. And the next day was Halloween, so of course I went back down to Daytona to hang out with Rob and do random Halloween crap. But that was a ridiculously busy and crazy weekend, but definitely a fun one. As I'm recording this, we are prepping for our next block of shooting for the film, so that is happening very shortly. Actually filming the scenes that I'm in, so that'll be fun, because everybody knows I'm a great actor. And then I still do have a couple Halloween videos left to post. It probably doesn't matter so much at this point. I could probably shelve them, but I kind of like being able to look back on these things just as kind of a, you know, video journal of stuff or whatever. So I at least want to get my Halloween Horror Nights one that was like 3 months ago now at this point. I want to get that at least put out. It may not be the greatest because I probably have forgotten more than I remember by now, but I still want to have that out. So look forward to a couple of those coming soon. I also have a couple figures I've reviewed and just have not gotten around to editing the video, so hopefully those will be out before the end of the year if nothing else. But until then, I'll see you guys later.